Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. The XRP hype train is real. And there's a couple ways that you could take that. It's certainly true that there's a ton of utility as it pertains to XRP specifically, which is exceedingly rare in the crypto space. I think that's what attracts the vast majority of us to XRP in the first place. And there are some people that don't care about utility, maybe the trader types that get in and out. But the XRP community is gigantic for a reason. There's really actually something here. So when you're talking about fundamental use cases for XRP, making people's lives better, making business opportunities possible that otherwise wouldn't be possible, like, you can call it hype, but it's real then. It's still a real thing. Sometimes hype is warranted, and if you're talking about that stuff, it is. But there's also the other side of that coin, because you could take it when I said that, the XRP hype train is real, you could also take it a whole nother direction, which unfortunately I'd say is equally true, which is that people are eager to take, well, first of all, to connect dots that ought not be connected, and to take things completely out of context, speculate in completely irresponsible ways. And that's when you start to lose me, because the fact of the matter, so far as I'm concerned, is that there's so much incredible opportunity as it pertains to XRP. I think it's going to be worth a fortune in the future. I think there's the amount of adoption it's just, you can see the way it's trending. I see no reason that's going to slow down. How is that not sufficient to be incredibly exciting? To me, it is. It absolutely is. I think that the asset class, the crypto asset class, is going to have trillions of dollars of money just flowing in the coming years. And I think a big chunk of that's going to go to XRP. I think that's going to get the price bid up astronomically. And I'm not going to make price predictions, but I will say, I don't think it's unreasonable to speculate that at some unknown point way in the future, you could have XRP, in the hundreds of dollars, if not higher. And I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't pretend to, but even that stuff isn't wacky to think, well, based on where we are now, and put some effort into trying to figure out what might be reasonable, especially based on the appreciation of other assets like Bitcoin. That's logical and reasonable to try and figure out what that might look like. But again, there is such a thing as taking it a little bit too far. So I want to talk about both sides of that. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And here's the headline from the Crypto Basic to kick things off. $14.5 trillion into digital assets. Wall Street expert says selling XRP now is like selling Microsoft Apple stock in early days. And so, folks, that concept doesn't sound crazy to me in the least. I think that we're so early in crypto that very well may be the case. In fact, I've bet accordingly. I think that there's so little money in XRP, but I see the adoption coming. I see where things are going, and that's just my personal opinion. If I'm wrong, fine. It goes to zero and I lose everything, then too bad, so sad for me, I guess. But I'm an adult and I've made my own decision. I do think it's one of those things. I firmly believe this is the most probable thing, and so I bet accordingly, and I acknowledge I could be wrong, but I'm always trying to be a realist, you see? But my gosh, the amount of institutional money poured in, so on and so forth. But check this out. So the piece reads as follows: XRP selling now like selling Microsoft Apple stock in their early phases, advises expert as $14.5 trillion investment may enter into digital assets. Some of the largest financial institutions have projected that the digital asset market could see a $14.5 trillion investment in the coming years. Prominent figures in the XRP community believe that XRP is posed to take a substantial share of that fund. Okay, so I'll pause to say here again. That doesn't sound wacky to me in the least. There's a reason that XRP is one of only 3 cryptocurrencies in existence that has always, since launch, been in the top 10 cryptos by market cap, with the other 2 being Bitcoin and ETH. That's it. It's an exclusive club out of over 20,000 cryptocurrencies: Bitcoin, ETH, and XRP. The least amount of money out of those 3, the least amount of money is XRP, which means that the most opportunity is there because it takes way less money flowing in to get a tremendous multiplier effect. So the idea of it being worth way more in the future sounds totally plausible to me. Piece continues. Linda Jones, a pro-XRP Wall Street financial analyst, is one of such people. In a recent tweet, Jones expressed that selling XRP now could be akin to selling the stock of Microsoft and Apple in its early days. Yeah, and so that sentiment, again, I think is perfectly reasonable. There's a certain amount of hype that it has merit. Absolutely. That's why I'm here. If there were, I wouldn't be here if that weren't the case, But I just want to stay grounded in reality here. And so here's the thing. Her comments stemmed from this post on X, formerly known as Twitter, from an account I'm not familiar with called Cypress Demanincore, I guess. And nothing against this individual, but I want to state what was shared here because we need a little bit of clarification on this. Because where's this figure stemming from? $14.5 trillion. Well, there's this clip that this individual shared about one of the largest financial institutions in the United States called Northern Trust. It's been around forever, working with HSBC. And they wrote, you can see part of it on the screen right here. They're estimating that global assets are expected to rise to a total of $145.4 trillion by 2025. So that's, less than a year and a half from now. Oh, well, or maybe they're considering by the end of the calendar. Either way, we're talking within the next couple of years, right? 145.4 trillion global assets, right? But they also separately note, and it's also on your screen, the following. Asset servicers know that they are operating in an evolving world. We expect that by 2030, approximately 5 to 10% of all assets will be digital. Okay, folks, that doesn't mean specifically cryptocurrencies or decentralized cryptocurrencies. 5 to 10%, sure, but you can tokenize all sorts of stuff. So here's the problem. Where did they get that $14.5 trillion going into crypto? Well, they just took that 10%. They took 10% of 145.4 trillion, because that would be again, they're saying by 2025, $145.4 trillion in global assets by 2025. And then they said, okay, well, they said on the upper end, 10% of assets would be digital. And then they get $14.5 trillion. And so even if you consider, of course, for that would be by the year 2030. Okay, let's just give them that, whatever. But the problem, you can see it, right? That's not the case. So it's incorrect, right? That's a misreading of what this is. So if that's what they're expecting, a certain amount of that would be for cryptocurrencies. But there would also be other types of digital assets. And they understand that. They actually even write about it in this piece. So that's one little nitpick thing. But a little nitpick thing, that could change to the tune of trillions of dollars of what this individual is expecting. But even so, I'm just trying to live in reality. It doesn't actually do much to damper the excitement. I'm just trying to live in Realsville. Because even if it were like 2 or 3%, this is the reason I'm excited. It could be just $1 trillion. That doesn't mean an increase in market cap of just $1 trillion. That's why I'm excited. As that money flows in over time, even if it took 7 years, the multiplier effect for that would be substantial. And again, I'm not saying it would only be $1 trillion. I'm just trying to make a point. As money flows in, it goes, it explodes. Prices get bid up. So, if $1 million flowed into crypto, I'm sorry, not 1 million. Let's just say it was $1 trillion flowed into crypto tomorrow. Prices would explode. You wouldn't just add $1 trillion in market cap to the asset class. There wouldn't be enough assets at today's prices, and you would just see prices get bid up through the roof. So that's why I'm saying, even if it's a lower figure, we can still be excited. I'm just trying to live within reality here. But I still think the concept is right. That's why I'm in crypto. I think that crypto is going to substantially outperform every single asset class for the next decade. And by the way, that's a rolling expectation because I've been saying that for almost 6 years now, and I still think it's true. I was wondering back then, maybe half a decade from now, I wonder if I'll still be saying something. Yes, well, I am, because I think that there's still that much more room to go. It's still very early days. I firmly believe that. And so anyway, Linda Jones retweeted that, and she wrote the following. Yes, the numbers are that big, $14.5 trillion. The money will flow digitally, and you own a very valuable asset. You are early, not wrong. Question. If you knew you owned the next Microsoft or Apple stock, would you be in a rush to sell it in its early days? And so look, I agree with her. I agree with the sentiment. I mean, I nitpicked the 14.5 trillion because I like accuracy. But aside from that, I agree with the concept. And I do think we're early, not wrong. Yes, that sounds perfectly accurate. But there are some other things that I would like to take a moment to correct because it's just... What I'm doing here, and it's always been my intention since launching this YouTube channel. I launched my channel a little over a year after jumping into crypto. My first video was December 14th, 2018. Part of the reason is I just wanted to seek truth. And I had such a hyper interest in this, and I still do, because I think most people just don't get it. And that just gives me that much more drive to be like, see this through and be like, yeah, but you're wrong. Like you'll see it eventually when it's too late. For some of these people anyway. Not you people listening, obviously. But I want to believe whatever. I want to believe in life as many true things as possible. And it's okay to get stuff wrong. I'm wrong, you know. I do my best in good faith to operate here, running this channel and speaking, you know, on X, formerly known as Twitter. I always do my best to get it right. And I do my best to research before I state a firm thing. And if I'm not sure of something, I state that I'm not sure. I think it may be so. I'm not confident. I'm highly confident. Whatever it is, just to be precise so that I don't mislead people. And I think that's the right way to go through life just in a general sense. But then I see people where I just see this pattern where it's not just that they're wrong. I see a pattern of wrongness and hypeness and all sorts of stuff. And then getting into the conspiracy theory land and all the crap where all the money, you hear them people say that in our community. And, you know, it's just, you lose me. You lose me going there. And I just, you know, retweeting, or in this case, now it's called reposting stuff and getting views from hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, just because it sounds really cool and exciting, but then not finding out if the cool sounding and exciting thing is true. I don't think that's the right way to approach things, especially if you have a larger following. I don't think that's good. So I don't know what the intentions are of these people, but all I can do is keep running things the way that I think is the right way to run things. And so I'm not going to attack any individual for any sort of personal reason, but if people are getting stuff wrong and I know that it's wrong, I'm just going to note that it's wrong. I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to be snarky about it, but I am going to point out if something is wrong because that's the right thing to do. I'm not going to be silent because I might hurt like a grown man's feelings because I told him that he reposted something that isn't accurate. I'm not going to worry about that. If somebody gets their feels hurt because I just politely correct the record, that's their problem and I don't care. Because I'm trying to get as many true things out into the world as possible, period. And with some of these people, some of them are just getting stuff wrong from time to time. And like, I get it. And then maybe think, okay, maybe do a little bit better due diligence. Okay. But for some of these people, and I don't feel the name to name names, I'm going to highlight some examples of this type of stuff. But for some people, you just see a pattern of this. It's not a one-off instance where there's something super duper exciting. It's like, how come these handful of people always have the most exciting, exuberant stuff? And it's just, and if they're right, oh my God, XRP is going to be $1,000. How come it's always just this handful of people? And then you go and fact check some of this stuff, and then it's just like, what is going on here? So take a look at this. This is the BIS website, Bank for International Settlements, which is the central bank for banks, basically. And there's a project called Project Mariana. I'm not going to go into depth on what that is because it doesn't matter. But here you can see this headline, Project Mariana, Central Bank Digital Currencies and Automated Market Makers. I'll just tell you right at the outset here, this has nothing to do with Ripple or XRP, and it's being presented as though it is. This was circulating as hype a couple months ago, then it died down, and it just came back. Why? Why do we need to do this? So here you have Lewis Jackson at Crypto Lulu. He shared a video about this thing, this project, and he just wrote the following. He said, "You can't tell me Ripple, XRP, the XRP ledger, and XLS30 weren't involved." He says you can't tell him that. Here's the thing, though, you can tell him that. And XRP community member Panos did this. Now, I'm a huge fan of Panos. He's at PanosMek, Panosmek. Fantastic follow if you're not following him yet. And this guy is the most level-headed, fact-based guy out there, writes fantastic blogs. I can tell he's like me in the sense that he just wants to know whatever's true, believe whatever is true, and put that information out into the world, not a bunch of stuff that is not in line with reality and is not true. And so he responded to Lewis Jackson and he wrote, because again, Lewis Jackson said, "You can't tell me Ripple and XRP are not involved." And Panos said, "I can actually. BIS can and did. They clearly state that they used Ethereum only and specifically Curve Finance's automated market maker. Now answer to the community this. Are you an idiot who can't read and can't do a basic research, or is this for engagement? Okay, and so look, he's wording it in a bit more of a snarky, and abrasive way than I would address this. But see, the thing is, there are people in the community that are sick of this stuff. That's the thing. And so the way I'm going to approach it is a little bit different, but I'm just trying to show you both sides of this. Because it's certainly not true. It's easily provable. It doesn't take that much effort to figure this out. And so I just politely point out stuff like this. And here's a separate post from Panos about the same thing. He retweeted Lewis Jackson and said, "It took me only 2 minutes to find out that BIS's Project Mariana has nothing to do with Ripple or XRP. They clearly state that they used Ethereum only, specifically permissioned versions of ETH, and for automated market makers, they used Curve Finance." And he shared screen grabs. I'll put them both up both. So if you want to pause and read them, go ahead. I'm not going to. I'm just trying to get the idea across here. So that's one, and here's the other one. And so he just, he's got access to a search engine, and he used it. And then he immediately found this. I'm sure he used a Control F function to search through and find out what's going on. Is there a Ripple? Is there XRP in here? And, Ripple was mentioned in a particular document on this topic. I might have it pulled up, but it might be in a later tab. But all they were doing was recognizing, the landscape out there as it pertains to foreign exchange, basically. And so, it made me think back to college. It's just like, and I'm sure many of you will be aware of this. I have a marketing degree. And this is from almost 20 years ago for me at this point. Remember the SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats? It's a business thing, and you're just kind of making yourself aware of the competitive landscape and what's just happening in general. It made me think of that. And so here you have BIS recognizing the totality of the ecosystem, talking about Ripple and what they're doing, never once saying that they're a part of this project. In fact, they go and state that it's a permissioned version of ETH and Curve. That's they state it right there. I just... And here's an article, too. Here's from June 29th. So this is not even new stuff. BIS leverages Curve's AMM technology for CBDC test. It's right there. The information is on the internet. Here you have XRP community member Moonchaser, who is another fact-based individual, appreciates solid research. She responded to Panos and wrote, "I see that the BIS's Project Mariana and XRPL hype is being recycled and making the rounds again. I tried to clarify this point last month too." And here you can see a tweet from her on July 2nd. And she noted that Project Mariana is being built on Ethereum, not XRP Ledger. And that's why I said at the outset, there's so many reasons to be excited about XRP and the XRP Ledger. And even if you're just a speculator, because I'm a speculator, there's more than enough reasons to be excited about what's going on. But we don't need to think or put out the idea that everything that has the slightest bit to do with foreign exchange or central bank digital currencies, we don't have to put out there, oh, it must be Ripple then. Because reasons? I'm just not into it. It doesn't help. It doesn't help anything. Here you had Edo Farina, maybe it's Edo Farina, I guess. 75,000 followers. He was putting this stuff out there too. And so he responded to Lewis Jackson, and he shared a tweet of his, I guess they're called posts now again, from July 18th, just noting that Project Mariana refers to XRP as an international payment medium. Okay, so that's a fact-based thing. But what's the insinuation there? If you're reporting that Project Mariana refers to XRP as an international payment, BIS, what's the insinuation? What's the purpose of this? What is that adding? If anything, if you want to talk about Project Mariana, wouldn't you talk about the fact that it's ETH-based and it's permissioned and Curve Finance? I don't see what... I mean, so that part, you can state that's fact, as I cited a couple minutes ago. But that's an insignificant, irrelevant detail to any of this. And I think... See, when you put something like that out there, it gets people excited. Oh, there's another thing. XRP, there's another thing there. There's not another thing there. This is nothing to do with Ripple or XRP. It just isn't there. So why do that? And here's another example. This one's from Edo Farina. This is from a couple days or so ago. And it's just another head scratcher here. He wrote, according to Google, and this is not true, but he wrote, according to Google, XRP world reserve currency. So he's stating that this is what Google is claiming, and that is not true. But here's the quote. XRP is perfectly positioned to serve as a world reserve currency. It can be held in significant quantities to provide liquidity for foreign exchange reserves and international transactions throughout a global economy. End quote. So here's the thing. I've been seeing for years all sorts of bogus claims about Google adopting XRP or adopting Ripple technology for so-and-so, and that's going to make XRP boom. I've been seeing these things since 2017. Google's going to do this or that with Ripple. And Google actually has, in the earliest of days, they actually did invest, so it's not that there's nothing to that. That's awesome. I'm pulling from memory, and I could be mistaken on this. I think initial investment might have been like $50 million. So there was something there. But then when you take this leap and there's all these rumors out there, Google's adopting XRP, this or that. I've been seeing that for 6 years just about. And so then for him to say that Google is saying that XRP is perfectly positioned to serve as a world reserve currency, that's just literally not true. So where did this come from? Well, what it came from is he Googled XRP world reserve currency. And here you can see where it actually came from. It came from a personal blog of an XRP community member named Mark Phillips. This is from April 6th of 2019, 4.5 years ago, roughly. And he titled this personal blog, XRP will be a world reserve currency. And then if you scroll down, you can see the relevant person. So this is one XRP community member's opinion. And here, I highlighted it already. It reads again as follows. XRP is perfectly positioned to serve as a world reserve currency. It can be held in significant quantities to provide liquidity for foreign exchange reserves, international transactions and investments, and all other uses throughout a global economy. So that's his personal opinion. Fine. That's fine. It's a personal blog. Cool. Now, that got hijacked, though. Here's this website, BTCC. They stole that portion and slapped it on their website. And here you can see, is XRP a world reserve currency? And the same damn thing right there. It's highlighted on your screen. I'm not going to read it again. It's on your screen, though. So BTCC stole that from an XRP community member's personal blog. And by the way, I found this out by a simple Google search. This does not take much effort. Anybody could do this. I am not a wizard. I swear this is not sorcery. I swear on my damn life. And so then this got highlighted. So then if you type in XRP world reserve currency, this just pops up. For me, it was the first result. And I know it can change because of the way Google's algorithms work, this or that. But it popped up first result for me, and it did for Edo also. And so then he portrayed it in a way that just isn't true. XRP, Google said this? According to Google? No. You Google searched something, and a result popped up from BTCC that displayed that. That's a very different thing than Google says that XRP is going to be a world reserve currency. That's a very different thing. And so you get this out, and then you can see here, he got 127,800 views on this. 127,800 views. That's how many people saw this. And it's gotten retweeted 233 times. You know, and in fact, Digital Perspectives, this is Brad Kimes, he retweeted this. That's been seen now 47,400 times. And he wrote the following. And it just, again, I mean, you got to pause and think about this. So and again, this is not an attack on them, but I'm trying to understand this. You see like a spectacular claim. A spectacular claim. Google says XRP is going to be the world reserve currency? Nobody thinks to fact check this? I mean, I did. So, but anyway, it was retweeted and he wrote the following. I may take profits at $10 to $25 and so on, but this is what I'm really excited about. The real early vision of Ripple and the use of XRP. Hate us for it if you want to, but it isn't going to change the course of XRP history. Okay, but it isn't true. And that's a big claim. And now it's getting propagated throughout the XRP community, and it's not true. And so again, none of this is to be mean towards anyone on a personal level, but I feel obligated to point out that this isn't accurate. I really do feel that. I mean, I am humbled by the amount of people that subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on X. I really am. When I started this years ago, I never thought that it would be at this level, but it does make me feel like I need to be a bit more, cautious when posting stuff, like really make sure that I'm being precise with my language, and if I'm asserting that something is true, that I know it's true, and if I'm not sure, that I need to say that, or say I think it's true, but I could be wrong, or this or that. I'm very, very precise. I'm very, what word should I use? I am choosy in my words. Maybe that's the best way to sum it up. I'm very choosy in the way that I present things here. And so I'm going to use my platform the way that I've been doing it from the beginning, which is, again, nothing against anybody. If something's wrong, and again, we all get stuff wrong from time to time, and I will too. I will in the future. I have in the past. I'm going to in the future, but I'm operating in good faith. Excuse me. And I screen the stuff that I read. Like if there's something about XRP and it sounds fantastical, I'm probably going to look into it a bit first. And all I'm saying here is I'm just encouraging people, everyone in the community, everyone, literally. And I'm going to keep striving towards this, and I'll fail sometimes too, perhaps. Hopefully not on something significant. But I'm just going to encourage people, before you just hit the retweet because something sounds awesome, think, okay, how many people are going to see what you put out? Who's that going to impact? Or are you just propagating a lie? Something that isn't true. And so I simply responded to Brad Kimes as tactfully as possible here, and I wrote, just FYI, what Edo tweeted isn't accurate. That quote didn't come from Google, it came from a 2019 personal blog of Mark Phillips on LinkedIn. Then a website called BTCC stole the comment, and that's what pops up when you Google search that phrase. And so that was like a day ago. And maybe you didn't see it, but I don't see any sort of acknowledgement of corrections or anything, or deleting of the tweets or anything. And Edo was corrected separately on his thread. I didn't need to because somebody took care of that also. But you can see, like, when I posted that, that's a correction. I got a few thousand views on that. And the way X works is, this is how it's pretty much always been. Replies to posts don't get picked up in the algorithm with nearly, the exponential disbursement of that information that you would get just with an original post. So original posts, the algorithm spreads it like crazy, and then the individual replies, they don't get seen as much. So that's not terribly surprising, I suppose. But anyway, again, some of this stuff, it's just really big. It's like, so some things are just a little bit wrong and you can get stuff wrong. I get that. And I'm going to get stuff wrong too. I will. I have my mistakes. I'll make mistakes in the future. But what's bothering me, really what's grinding my gears, just to kind of sum this up, it's the more spectacular claims that get proliferated throughout the community without a care in the world, without anybody being sufficiently curious as to whether or not this is true. Why are we can do better than that. Because again, XRP is so freaking incredible. We don't need to live in a fantasy. Do you want to live in a fantasy land? Because I don't. I want to look on X and read posts in my feed and just know that people are doing their best to operate in good faith rather than hype stuff just for the sake of it, to get views or engagement, this or that. Because I'm telling you, I could do this. Like, if I didn't want to push back against the ideas that I know are wrong and point out that they're wrong, because that's not a popular thing to do. You understand that this isn't getting me any sort of popularity points, right? It's just the right thing to point out if you just want to believe whatever's true. What I could have done instead is just not pointed this out, not made this video, and I could have just retweeted Edo's comment here and then just hyped it up further and just repeated the same thing. Oh my God, it's from Google. And I would have gotten a bazillion retweets, a ton of, they're called reposts now, tons of likes, more followers. I'd have way more followers. I could just do that. I'd feel wrong though. I'm just not going to do that. And so I just want to push back against that and just encourage people to just, like, let's change the mentality that we have in our community. It's not everybody, but it's just, and it's not that everybody's even trying to do that. It's just, especially if you're new to crypto and you're just seeing this stuff, you don't know necessarily. Maybe you're thinking, well, wow, that person's got almost 100,000 followers. And he's saying that Google said this. That's probably true. But that many people trust him. It must be true. But it's not. That's the thing. I'm just saying that, everybody can do better, myself included. I guess that's in a nutshell part of the message here. All right, I'll shut up, and then I'm going to be less popular than ever before. I could have just shut my mouth, not corrected any of this, not been seeking the truth, and I could have been way more popular, way more views on YouTube, and way more followers on Twitter. I'm not going to do it, though. I refuse to do that. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.